Yo, yo, it is I, the Duke. It is you, the P. We are here.
Indeed.
We're here to talk about episode 6 of Moon Knight. Sir, what did you think of episode 6, Moon Knight?
It was underwhelming.
Okay.
Wasn't what I expected. I mean, we spent the last 5 weeks where they had such a great build-up,
Mm-hmm.
You're getting so much information slowly getting put together like a nice, well-placed puzzle. And then the last week, the last episode that you just thought, okay, yeah, it's going to be something spectacular to top off episode 5. And it was just rushed, discombobulated.
That's the new word for you. Very good, sir. Very good.
Yeah, that's the word that basically comes to mind when I think about it. And
you used it in its correct format as well. Well done.
Well, what can I say? I'm learning. It's all about evolution. And I have to say also, I think it damaged the whole series overall based on how they did episode 6. The fact is, as we were discussing, beforehand when we were just briefly speaking about it.
Yeah, believe it or not, we are actually friends off screen.
Yeah.
People may be shocked to hear this, but it's true.
Yeah, we communicate at least once a day. Max, we won't talk is maybe for like a day where we're busy and we don't get to contact. But within 2 days, we're back at it again. But
talking, not anything, not back at it like that. Just in case.
Back at conversating.
Yes. I just want to make sure.
Platonic way.
I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, you have to be very clear now. We don't want no defamations, lawsuits, and all sorts of fake crimes. Exactly. So, yeah, but I mean, we were speaking about the whole thing, and we just said, which you made a very good point. We said not everything has to have this great big Avengers Endgame, Infinity War type battle. You can finish it on a nice, beautiful suspense dialogue storyline where you just think, even though they haven't announced a season 2, surely there's going to be a season 2. You'll have renewed interest in it. But I'm not being funny now. If there were to be a season 2, I wouldn't be excited to watch it based on what they've done with this story and the characters. I mean, you're building up a character like Amit for the last 5 episodes. Is the all-powerful goddess whose wrath knows no bounds, and all the other gods they don't even really want to speak of her name. And literally, her entrance and her exit was all within the space of about 7 to 8 minutes. That's it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think for me, I mean, it was an enjoyable episode, but for me, the main thing is that we came out of episode 5, which I said and I stand by, was the best standalone episode of all the Marvel Disney series we've had so far. It was cerebral.
Okay.
It was cerebral. It really touched upon some dark matters. It really got us thinking about what reality is and how different people deal with trauma differently, and how things that happen to you in your youth will still stay with you into your adult life. It touched upon all of these very sensitive subjects.
Like mental health and the effects of mental health and abuse, and just all those kind of things that sometimes doesn't really get talked about that much, especially when it comes to male. It's not really that reflective in society where they speak about abuse that men go through as a child, which actually lingers with them through adulthood, and the lasting effects that it actually has on them and the impact it has on their life, their day-to-day life, trying to go be productive, and the fact that often in cases like those, we don't actually tackle those issues. So it tends to lead these guys to form destructive relationships because there's so many unanswered issues that hasn't been dealt with. And it's a great concept. And I just felt that they just ruined it by the way they ended.
I don't think it was ruined per se, but what I personally would have liked to have seen is for them to have continued with that vein and give us something more cerebral, something that was more about Mark and Stephen dealing with
from episode 5,
dealing with these internal issues, and maybe almost them the last episode, instead of it being this big formulaic final battle, which is great, don't get me wrong, I love a big formulaic final battle as much as the next guy.
Yeah, but if it makes sense, if it goes with the concept.
Yeah, but I think in this instance, it would have been far better to have done something which looked at the way he deal with some of his past mental trauma and how he helps overcome that. I think they do kind of touch upon it by having Mark and Stephen really kind of solidify I don't want to say friendship, but solidify their companionship with each other by kind of almost agreeing, well, they do agree that they're essentially going to share that body and they're going to be perfectly aware of each other, which was all very nice. But I would have liked to have seen that. I would like to see more from episode 5 and their history play more of an integral part in how they got there to this understanding episode 6. So just a comment here. A concept good on paper, but doesn't deliver when filmed. Yeah, I think that's a decent point. I think that's they got stuck in two places. They wanted to do the old-fashioned formulaic action stuff, which had done in episode 6, and they also wanted to do the kind of more cerebral stuff. And I think they just got a bit stuck in both camps and never executed both properly in the entirety of the series. I think the action stuff in the last episode was good. I thought the cerebral stuff in episode 5 was amazing. But I've seen the action stuff before. So I personally would have liked to have seen more of the cerebral stuff in episode 6.
Exactly, which will then lead to a pass. I mean, I'm not going to give them a pass on that. To me, I feel they've dropped the ball. And the reason why I won't give them a pass is for the fact that they've set the bar so high. If it was a case like this was their first go at things where it's still a learning phase, you could say, okay, I can understand why maybe they got a few things wrong. But at the end of the day, they've been raising the bar for other, networks, other comic books to actually come forward with their version of stories and trying to keep up with the brand that they've actually and the level they've actually set. And to me, I don't know if it's because they've got too much things that they're trying to get out, that it's like they start off great and then it's like they're just like, oh, okay, well, if the ending isn't really that great, then it's okay because the other 5, the first few episodes make up for it. But the point is, when you've made those episodes so great and then you finish it on, to me, which is a low, it actually just damaged the whole concept and the whole enjoyability of the story. Because I personally, this is how I would have liked them to have gone, the direction they would have gone with episode 6. You don't bring Stephen and Mark back at the beginning of it. The fact that, again, if we want to even touch on, before I even go on the battle, I would say we still explore a lot of things that's going on, on the spiritual plane where they are. So we can find out, because, there's still a lot of things that they could actually explore in terms of their relationship to get a better understanding of what's going on, what they've missed out on. Like we hardly saw any interaction or any backstory about his father. And surely there must have been something in between.
Because I don't think that was needed.
The fact that the mom who abused him, he always was speaking to the mom, but the dad who never abused him, he never had any interaction with the dad apart from the flashbacks. If you never saw the flashbacks, you would have thought his dad was dead.
Yeah, I don't think the dad's that important. I think the dad is just the letdown. The fact that the dad never intervened properly to heal that
Yeah, but
relationship.
surely there must have been the same way. There was certain things that they didn't really touch on, like what was really going on in the room. He's like, no, he didn't really get to see what was going on, which means that could have been left to other, situations that we could have found out what's going on in there had they explored it better. But the fact is, they didn't, and I just thought they could have actually spent more time on their character, building the character. So when he does return, it makes more sense. But to me, it just seems all very rushed. Like literally, that looks like it's been like a few minutes in the space of the time when he actually got killed and they found Ahmed and
Yeah, I
released
mean, it
her.
was all very quick. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
it was.
They could have had a few extra episodes, maybe,
That's what I'm
or they
saying.
could have just added on an extra 15 minutes onto this episode as well,
Because
because this episode was only 45 minutes.
yeah, within that,
Short finale could have been a lot longer.
yeah, within that time frame, Layla became an avatar. She got a warrior suit and she became like hot girl / something else.
Okay, I'll explain that away to you in a second.
And she's able to fight. She's able to tap into all those abilities really good. And another thing which I mentioned to you, I thought which was very random and strange. The fact is, Harrow is an actual avatar. He's the avatar for Ahmed. Yet he wasn't able to actually.
Yeah, I think what happens there is because Ahmed actually manages to manifest himself within his own kind of form.
Yeah, but so did Khonshu when he was there fighting. But yet, still at the same time, Mark was still Moon Knight. So it was in two. So it's not as if you're saying if he's in his own form, then he no longer has the ability to transform. He was still transforming and fighting Harrow using the Moon Knight powers, while at the same time Khonshu's getting.
Fight change. Harrow did get a bigger stick. That was it. He just got a bigger stick. He just got a bigger head on his walking stick.
Literally, yeah.
That was it. Like Ahmed's all about austerity. He's not about big garish costumes. You just get a bigger head on your walking stick.
Oh, you mean Harrow? Yeah, he means business, but at the same time, the armor would actually protect him from, because he's fighting against, Avatar with supernatural abilities, and they've got some kind of armor to help protect them from damage. He hasn't got anything except the sandals with the broken glass inside it that he was still wearing, rocking while he's there, just laying the smack down on both of them. And I don't know. I just feel like they dropped the ball with the story. They could have actually kept it more cerebral. Like we said, not everything has to end in a big battle so quickly. You can build it up. I mean, Avengers is a great example of it because, End Games and Infinity War
literally both ended in big battles.
Right. But it wasn't like the one battle just ended and that's it. And the battles made sense. There was reasons for the battles, which then equate into the continuation of things going forward. But
I think there was a storyline reason for these battles. I just think it was lazy on the writers to just go in that direction. I think they should have tested themselves a bit more. I think
leave it a couple more episodes. That's what we said. If they'd even made it like 2 or 3 more episodes, so the story really develops. But you're telling me Ahmed, the all-powerful, got resurrected and literally within the space of 10, 15 minutes got defeated?
Well, this is the thing. You see Ahmed. I actually think Ahmed's really cool when he manifested.
She
manifested. Sorry, it's 2022. I'll get confused easily.
Go and get Ahmed tweeting in now. Yes, I'm a she, Duke. I'm a she.
I'm cancelled. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When she as she becomes really big, I did think she looked really cool. So yeah, I would have liked to have seen more than just 7 minutes of Ahmed looking really cool. Possibly something moving on to season 2, because I know it's not confirmed there's going to be a season 2. But I'm pretty sure that Moon Knight will be back in some way, shape, or form. whether he's part of the Midnight Suns moving forward, whether he is part of the werewolf. Oh God, I forgot what it's called. Werewolf. Night of the Werewolf. Moving forward, which is going to be a Halloween special on Disney. You can bring these characters back. It's fine. It's fine. You don't have to like get rid of people so early. It felt like they just waited to just tick box. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. So they don't have to worry about them in future continuation of the MCU. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to sit here and talk about what they could have done for too long because it's depressing.
Yeah, because it's already done.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. We've given our opinions, but well, you know what I like to talk about? I like to talk about theories and what could happen next. That's what I enjoy doing. So yeah, Ahmet comes back, they get into a big fight and they win. Yay. That's essentially what happens. And and Mark goes back for Stephen and saves him somehow. I did like the bit though when they both go hippo.
You can't say theory, but ain't that happened already? Stephen is back as well.
Yeah.
So you can't go back and save Steve. Stephen's already back.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired.
So you want to rewrite the thing as well, Manny. But yeah, no, I thought it could have been it. I know we can't go on about what's already happened, but the thing is, I think that this had the potential to be a really great story, like you're saying, focusing on the gods and what are the gods we could actually have seen, because it would have been interesting to know why. Well, for one, the gods were very skeptical about Khonshu and what was the history of.
This was their opportunity to do a lot more world building.
That's what I'm saying. They could have done that
in terms of the gods, especially with Thor: Love and Thunder coming up, which is going to be all about the gods.
That's what I'm saying, Manny. And they already knew this beforehand, which is why I'm saying to you. That's why I said to you, I'm not going to give them a pass because they already knew. I'm pretty sure they've already got like a chart, vision board with all the different movies that they're going to be making and when they're releasing them.
Apparently, Kevin Feige took all of his people out to a big retreat, basically like a cabin in the woods or something, and they just spent a couple of weeks there and they mapped out the next 10 years for the MCU.
But you see, that's exactly what I said to you. I think that's what the problem is because they're so focused on because they're so focused on yes, we've got to get these targets, we want to get all of these out. Yes, we know you're going to get it out, and we know it will do well because fans are interested in getting all these different stories. But the thing is, don't drop the standard of what you've set. You've already set that. And as we've seen, as we've both said, even though, you're not the biggest DC fan or whatever, we both said that the last Batman was incredible. So now you've seen that even though it's only one movie, but the fact that DC has actually made the effort to improve their product, they're trying to catch up to the standard that you've set. So the last thing you want to do now, you've seen that your competitor is actually up in their game, is for you to start lowering the bar that you've set.
Yeah, I think the issue is that
that's lazy writing.
It
probably looked great. It looked great on paper.
I do wonder as well how much the studio is getting involved as well and kind of like say, no, we want to stick to this formula. Someone at the top needs to be brave and say, no, we're going to do different stuff. We're going to touch upon different things and we're going to have different styles of writing. We're going to have different themes. We might even do a show where we're not actually going to have a single fight in the entire thing. It actually is just going to be an examination of a relationship, of trauma, maybe just a happy day. Maybe something like Stark Enterprises having a kind of corporate competition with Hammer Industries or something. I think my brother's still in the chat. Kay, do you remember a Marvel graphic novel called The Wolfpack? I'm sure he'll reply in a second. Anyway, the Wolfpack graphic novel is actually one of my favorite graphic novels, and it exists within the Marvel comic universe, but it is just simply a story about a group of kids called the Wolfpack who try to do good within their community.
Yeah.
And they basically they encounter problems with a criminal enterprise, like a criminal gang, basically, who who basically get in their way and and try to mess up their community. And one of the Wolfpack members even die in the graphic novel, but there's not like a single superhero in it. There's not like any superpowers, nothing like that. There's no talk of Iron Man or Avengers. It's just purely this enclosed story about a very real problem, which a lot of people in like more wanting communities have. And it's a great story, and I'd love to see Marvel just kind of do stuff like that as well, the MCU as well.
But if you look at it, Manny, if you go back onto Falcon and the Winter Soldier, some of the episode touched on things like within the community. We saw how what's it called? My God, what's his name? New Captain America.
Falcon.
Yeah, but I was trying to remember his name.
Sam Wilson.
Yeah, we saw how he was having issues, like he couldn't get a loan from the bank. So he was, as much as he did all what he did, he still had regular day-to-day problem like a regular person. And we saw that he had to basically start calling in favors from people that his family had helped in the community and whatnot, to say, going through this, and the community came together. And it was great because it wasn't just about, he's now going to be the new Captain America, XYZ. It actually had a great build-up. And if I really look at it, I think to me that was probably the best series out of all of that, what they've done so far, because the build-up with everything, even though it was it 8 episodes or 6 in that?
I can't remember.
But, it showed everything, like even John Walker, it showed his transition from trying to live up to the mantle of being the new Captain America based on all the pressures that was put on him from when he was just in the military, going back from his childhood, from high school, etc., losing his best friend, to him actually realizing he's not cut out for that Captain America because he wants to do his thing his own way. And you saw him transition from that, now going on to possibly becoming, which they haven't said it, but the US agent. And it was really good because they didn't rush those stories. And even though the episodes was still the same length of time, they managed to do better writing in that, where it covered everything.
No, I agree. Even though Falcon Winter Soldier did have its deficiencies because they did rewrite the entire thing.
Yeah, based on it was with the pandemic, some of the episodes they had to change it.
The Sharon Carter stuff, for me being the power broker, still doesn't make an awful lot of sense, I've got to say. But we're going off on a tangent. But no, I think that they can just do episodes which can just explore character, and I think that's fine. Just explore character. You've got a great actor in Oscar Isaac. Just explore the character. I'd love to see an episode which is just a day in the life of Jake Lockley. What's he like? How does he chat women? What's his life like being a taxi driver? Does he beat up customers who get a bit unruly in his cab?
If they don't tip him well or give him 5-star on Uber or what's the next one? Lyft.
Or if they do a Amber Heard on the back seat.
You never know.
Does he beat them up? I can't believe I just said that. But moving back,
that's the right thing. Does he intervene if he sees a #Amber Heard incident going on in the backseat? Does he pull over like, you get out, I'll take him somewhere, he'll be, don't leave, sir, I'll make sure you're okay. Does he do stuff?
What I meant was her doing a number 2 on the backseat was what I was referring
to. I think, like you said, I just felt they should have continued on from episode 5, which is just continue exploring the character and giving us more backstory about the characters. Possibly what they could have done, they could have gone from those two to start focusing on the gods So let us get a bit of backstory on Amit to see why, because Amit and Khonshu kind of had like a good-ish relationship. So it seems they have some kind of history. So it would have been good to kind of explore to see what went on, where things kind of went wrong. But to just go straight from that just to get the episode done, I just thought was a bit silly, because you could have still brought Mark and Steven back, but in season 2. Still make it seem like, they're going through that whole thing, but we don't know how much time has passed or whatever. It could be a few days. The fact that he's in those pyramids, we don't know what kind of, if it's just regular water, it could have been anything to say the water stuff that's actually in there is mystical in the sense that it would keep his body from decomposing rapidly, etc. So it would make sense. You could have done that while exploring the story. And then you have the battle whenever in season 2, finish it. If you just wanted to do 2 seasons, you could have finished it great, and it would have made great content. But you just, it just got.
David, no, you need to get over it. We need to move on.
Okay, yeah, let's move forward now. So going forward now, let's think positive. What?
No, there's still other bits we need to talk about. Hold your horses, sir. So there were positive bits from this episode. I don't want to totally shit on this episode because it wasn't awful. It was just not very brave for me. There were positives that I really liked, and actually righted a few wrongs from the Marvel comic history. So we got to see Layla assume the role of the Scarlet Scarab. If you're not aware, the Scarlet Scarab is a bad person from the Marvel comics. She was like an Egyptian supervillain. Even though she was fighting against a group of superheroes who were calling themselves the Invaders. I mean, you tell me he's the good guy and he's the bad guy in this situation. I mean, it's
being an invader never sounds like it's a promising, like exactly. It's a welcoming title. Exactly. Like, hey guys, we're here to save you. We are the Invaders.
It was like Bucky and old school Bucky and like I think the old Human Torch and people like that were in the original Invaders. But no, I'm happy that I think with hindsight, they can definitely look back and go like, yeah, that was quite culturally insensitive. Just assuming that America's right in every single situation.
Yeah, come in there now in this day and age. Hey guys, we're the Invaders. We're here to save you because
exactly.
you need us.
It's a bit of gaslighting that, definitely. But I like the fact that she's seen as a superhero, and I think she looked absolutely awesome when she extended her wings. She looked totally badass, and yeah, I think they've righted that wrong. And I like the fact that they asked, like that little kid asked her, "Are you the Egyptian Avenger?" She was like, "Yeah." So what I'm hoping we see now is kind of we're going to see superheroes. All the bad stuff doesn't just happen in America. Do you know what I mean? Like every time there's an issue, facing planet
New York, Manhattan.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just focused on Manhattan. There's going to be mad stuff going on in every single corner of the planet. So we know that like the Wakandans have got.
Come to think of it, sorry, Manny, but I can't think of any bad incidents that I've seen happen in any of those Marvels so far. That's like in Hollywood. It's always in New York.
Yeah, something about New Yorkers. I don't know. But so far we got Wakandans like looking after like Central Africa. Now we've got like the Scarlet Scarab now potentially looking after like North Africa and the Middle East, that kind of region. Stephen Grant looking after the UK. And yeah, hopefully what I want to see moving forward is kind of who are the superheroes in the different parts of the planet. I want to be assured that every single corner of the planet in the MCU has a superhero or a superhero faction looking after it. And I'm hoping that.
What about the Caribbean? Is there one? Is there one for the Caribbean?
Apparently, some guy called Davey P auditioned for it, but he failed dismally.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I don't know why. I think his fighting technique would have been awesome. Like, destroying meteors, all of that right there. That would be absolutely phenomenal. I think, again, that's another one they dropped the ball on.
I mean, I don't think you could destroy meteors.
Are you mad? Did you not see those techniques?
Listen, if there's a meteor come towards the planet, we're doomed. Absolutely doomed.
Well, to be fair, you know what? Just looking at that video again in detail just now, I think if there was a meteor coming and it saw me doing that, it would probably turn back because it would be like, I don't know what he's doing or what he's offering.
I don't know why he's milking two cows at the same time.
I don't know what kind of service he's trying to offer, but I'm not going down there. Earth, I'll bid you farewell and just do an exit stage left.
That guy's way too freaky for me. But yeah, so that was one thing I liked. I want to talk about the last scene. So the last scene, it is confirmed. We see Mr. Jake Lockley finally make his debut.
Yeah.
And so it's the mid-credit scene. Jake Lockley comes into an asylum where Arthur Harrow is, because Moon Knight doesn't kill Arthur Harrow as much as Khonshu wanted him to. And Moon Knight made a deal with Khonshu to say, you'll let us go, won't you? You'll let both me and Stephen go if we defeat Amit. And he's like, yeah. Little do they know that Khonshu's got a hold over their third personality. Oh, devious Khonshu.
Well, it's devious in the sense that, well, not necessarily devious. I think it's Mark and Stephen that got outsmarted because it's all about your choice of words. If they said you will no longer have any possession over our body, then that negates everything. It doesn't matter how many personalities you have. The fact that it's only one body and you said you will no longer have any jurisdiction over my body.
But that would make a really boring story, wouldn't it?
But then at least it would be, true. It would make it too easy. But I'm saying that's what they did. That's where they went wrong. And thus we have. But again, even going back on the story, I think that third sarcophagus that we saw in episode 4, that could have been Jake that was inside.
I think it's pretty obvious now that was. Everybody assumed it was Jake at the time, and I think it is pretty obvious now that it is Jake.
So I'm just wondering why they didn't, again, explore that to say, what's in that room, because you want to know what's going on. You're trying to find out what's going on.
I quite like it because it symbolizes that maybe on a subconscious level they are aware of Jake, but both Mark and Stephen do not want to go anywhere near that personality. They don't want to acknowledge it at all because the stuff Jake does, that's pretty bad. And you don't want to be associated with that.
Yeah, they are aware of it because I think when we saw, in that
they're not consciously aware of it.
Well, I kind of not consciously aware, but I think they found out that there was someone else because when Stephen saw who we thought at first was Mark by the car, and he's like, I don't remember that. I think that right there and then that was actually Jake that was outside by that car, by the taxi.
What scene are you talking about?
In episode 4, when they were trying to run to exit out, and he could see all the flashbacks, and he saw a scene when he's outside by the taxi. Looks like he's in Egypt. And there's a yellow taxi, and he's standing out, and he's like, I don't remember this.
Yeah, so that was Mark and Stephen trying to work out between themselves.
I don't think that was either of them. I think that was actually Jake that they saw outside, which is why neither of them remember doing that.
Yeah, they don't remember doing it because Jake had taken over the body.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that means the person who they were looking at out there was actually Jake.
Yeah, but I don't think they're conscious. So they know that there's something weird going on, but they're not consciously aware there's a third personality.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They don't know it's who it is, but they realize that they both agree that it wasn't. They don't remember that, which means subconsciously well, to us, that's how I interpret it. That means obviously that must have been Jake that was outside there.
Yes, that was Jake who killed all those people.
Yeah. We know that, but yeah.
As much as Mark has killed people, he doesn't like killing people. That's the difference.
Sure. Yeah, he only does it when it's not.
So I think that sarcophagus scene was quite cool because it's kind of them going, "Oh, there's another sarcophagus. Yeah, we're going to leave that alone because
they don't want to let out what's in there.
Because they don't want to acknowledge Jake because Jake does bad things. Mark and Stephen are aware of another personality now, but don't know about Jake. Yeah, so that might be a more valid way of looking at it. Especially when they realise Khonshu is kind of still in their lives as well. So we cut to this last scene. Arthur Harrow's now in a asylum. Jake comes in his full taxi driver. Well, not taxi driver, chauffeur outfit. They've kind of upgraded him from the comics to a chauffeur.
Fancy limo, chauffeur, and that was.
Yeah, and so yeah, he ends up taking out a few orderlies and wheels Arthur Harrow out. He uses his masculine charm to, convince the nurse that it's okay, I'll look after Mr. Harrow. And she's like, okay, and lets him wheel out Arthur, wheeling between all the bodies which he's left.
Yeah, I mean, didn't anyone make any noise? Didn't anyone hear?
No, because Jake's a professional.
Yeah, but surely that if that's an asylum, if that's a mental asylum, there's cameras and whatnot inside there.
No, I'm sure Jake had this all covered.
So they had all of that covered, did all of that, and then he wheeled him out, get him out there inside the limo just to kill him inside the limo.
Yeah, essentially. And so wheels him inside the limo, which says Spectre on the front, which I thought was a nice touch. It's also the name of it's actually the same car which he drives in the comics as well. Khonshu is there, looking all suited and booted.
Yeah.
He'd paid a visit to French Eye, and Lockley goes into the driver's seat, turns around, shoots Harrow dead.
Which was, I just said at the time, remember I said it to you when we discussed this, I said, that was the most pointless way of killing him there. Considering you killed everyone else inside the asylum, you wheel him out, get him in the limo, just to sit him in there to turn around and kill him. When you could have had that conversation with him inside the asylum and kill him with everyone else inside there.
Yeah, I think it's just for dramatic purposes. I don't think it would have been as dramatic. And I think he needed to be killed in a car so that the comic book fans know, like, oh yeah, that's Jake Lockley, taxi, or chauffeur.
Well, I thought, to me, this is how they could have done it where it would have still had that effect. You make him and, you see him and Harrow and Khonshu having a conversation. And he's like, oh, yes, I may not have Mark and Stephen, but I've got someone else. Executes him there. He then goes out, sit in the car. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Turns around now, winds down the window. Turns around. Who do we see? Jake. Okay, where do you want to go? Yeah, fine. We're off now. Winds back up the window like a chauffeur. Drives off. Still has that same dramatic effect, but without the pointless part of taking him out of the asylum to then kill him in the car. Then you're going to have to go and dump the body somewhere else and also get the limo cleaned.
I like the way the TV show done it better. But anyway.
My way is much better.
No, it's not. Anyway. So that happens. So we see Jake Lockley. He's he speaks a bit of Spanish as well, Mr. Lockley does. Which is quite cool. So yeah, again, we have to see this character come back because I do really like Moon Knight. I love Oscar Isaac. Great actor. We have to come back because we have to see how this relationship develops between Jake and when will Mark and Stephen find out about Jake.
Is Harrow really dead? is Harold really dead, or will he come back as well, just like they did? Because I mean, one of the strangest things when you really think about it is how they freed Khonshu. It wasn't very difficult to free Khonshu.
No.
You literally just smashed a little, ceramic prison that he's in, which is, effigy of him. And then he's out. So in theory,
yeah. Anyway, so moving forwards, the last bit. I really hope I really hope there is a season 2, but I hope they stick to its dark themes. If you're going to go dark, go all the way dark. And I think we're probably going to have a similar conversation regarding Scarlet Witch as well. In the same light, are Mark and Steven dreams? This is a good point. We never actually address. We still don't 100% know what's real and what's not real.
True.
At the end of this, because we still don't know what those scenes were with them in the asylum talking to Arthur Harrow. I think that's the place where Mark and Steven go to help them process stuff within their own minds. But
yeah,
your guess is as good as mine as to what's, again, we're still, which I like, we're still not 100% sure what the reality is. So I know you've already said it, but do you want to see Moon Knight come back? Do you want to see more of him?
I don't know. It depends if there's more reaction like what we're saying on Twitter, on social media, where people were disappointed.
It's mostly positive. It's mostly positive.
Then it might not make them feel they have any need to rectify any of the plot holes in terms of how they handled the whole Amit resurrection and imprisonment within such a short space of time, in less than an episode. I mean, if they're not going to work on that story, because unless they're going to go in a complete different direction, then I don't see what's the point in bringing back season 2, because unless they're going to try and right the wrong with the whole Amit thing and we get a better story, which means it wasn't the end, then I don't see how what's the point of bringing it back? Because if Amit was the most powerful out of all those gods that was going to cause hell, then who else would they bring? Because if Amit was the all-powerful, then there's no one else that you can bring that would actually be on the same level.
Kay, do you want a season 2? Because I do. I'm in love with Stephen Grant and Mark Spector and Jake. I think they're awesome. I love them as characters. I just want them to just explore the characters a bit more. For me personally. But so that's Moon Knight season 6. A mixed bag. I think on the whole, for me personally, more positive. For you, not as much. Kate also wants to see season 2. Yeah, for me, I think the season was a solid 7 out of 10. As I said, that episode 5 was one of the best things the Marvel series have done.
Yeah.
And for them, maybe as well, it's like the first time they've kind of delved into this. And, sometimes when you do stuff like this, you just got to go all in. And I think for some reason, they just held themselves back a bit. But next time, if you do season 2, please just go all in. Go all in on the madness. Go all in on all the cerebral stuff. Go all in on the multiple kind of perceptions each character might have. Ready as a viewer, I want to be challenged.
Yeah, indeed.
The magic era of the MCU is coming. It truly is. It truly is. And the end credits of Doctor Strange, which we're not going to talk about today, definitely suggest that too. Right.
Yeah, we'll discuss that next weekend, isn't it? Next weekend we're doing that one, next Sunday.
Yes. So any last comments on Moon Knight?
From me, it was overall, I enjoyed it. Which is why I guess I'm so hard on the whole subject, because
you saw the potential.
The first 5 episodes was so amazing, and then they just dropped the ball with episode 6. So overall, I enjoyed it. If I was to rate it overall out of 10, I'll give it a 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, really? So that's still quite high.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The first 5 episodes were really amazing. Yeah. It's just episode 6, I just didn't like the direction that they went.
I do think there is a kind amongst the series now. They are kind of getting into this area where I think they're just having trouble executing the finishes to all of the series they've had.
Yeah, they start off really good because obviously the start is really good to a show. If the start isn't good, you're not really going to get people that interested. So they start off really, really well.
Could be better, my brother says.
And yeah.
But
yeah. See, at least me and Kay were on the same page. It was great, but it could be better based on just taking a bit more time. Slow it down. Just the same way you did with the first 5 episodes where you took your time with the story and the writing. Just put the same effort in the last episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Loki and WandaVision had really good final episodes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%.
I just want to see that same energy for
and Falcon and Winter Soldier. It ended really well as well.
No, you're right. It did. That was a really good last episode, but yeah, that
especially when the end credit, when it was finishing and the last, the writing, it no longer said Falcon and Winter Soldier. It says Captain America.
Oh, that was a really nice touch. You're right.
And the Winter Soldier, because he's now
very nice
accepting the mantle that's left to him as that. So yeah, they all did well, and I just think, which is why again we're so hard on it, is the fact that they've made the effort where they can really put the work in for those shows. So just do the same, especially when this has been such a big hit.
Yeah. Cool. So we're gonna do a spoilerific stream about Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Gonna have a special guest come in as well. Just to keep David in check.
Sounds like I'm an unruly, like the unruly soul. Someone does need to keep me in line.
Yes.
I'm well behaved. I've been good today.
Yes. Right. So that'll be happening at some point next week, and then after that we've got Miss Marvel to look forward to.
Yeah, and you've also got your Star Wars that you'll be doing as well, isn't it?
Yes, I'll be doing a Star Wars stream with my cousin.
Yeah, that I'm not invited to.
No, you're not.
Not invited to. Don't worry, guys. I'll still log in on the stream and just sit and watch.
Yeah, yes, you're allowed to do that.
No, I don't mean watch like a fan. I mean I'm going to sit in the room like this as well and just watch. Just blink.
Do you mean the StreamYard?
Yeah.
Okay, you can do that.
Awesome.
But
you're not going to my mic. I won't have any words to say, folks, but I'll just sit there and just.
You're going to be on screen. You're going to be in the back end of StreamYard.
So I won't be on the screen to see as well. I can't see myself.
On the screen.
Damn, I was going to be practicing my crying and everything, man. Make sure at least my crying is more believable
than a certain person's. Indeed.
So, yes.
So glad I didn't watch the spoilers for Doctor Strange. Have you watched Doctor Strange today, Kay? Did you watch it today? Hey, we're not going to talk about that yet. We're not going to talk about that yet. We're going to talk about that next week. Righty ho. Right. We will see everybody next week for Doctor Strange.
Yes, indeed. We're out, folks.
Oh, God, and that's the wrong bit. There's a way I end this. That's it. That's